All right, so well, you have to understand it's been raining. Yep. So we weren't in the playoffs for months. Just, it was just cool to have something of a chance for a while, but we didn't. Yep, that's Halifax nil at the Wanderers grounds, Pacific 2. Something that Pacific still looked like they were ours for the taking, and they were out of form, and it looks like we've just kick-started their form back into action. Aparicio, who we absolutely made a fool of last time, looked like a complete and utter hero now. Gennaro Daniels and Josh Hurd also friggin' amazing. Um, and a team with our absolute best on it just couldn't handle it. And it's not for lack of trying. There were a lot of we we made some runs. They just amounted to nothing for the most part. Sammy Salter was basically invisible today, and the rest of the front line. Well, Omar was the most effective on the front line. The rest of the front line were all right, but even then, not to their usual standard. Omar was a center back, as I understand it. Um, it just, and Fernandez. I'm very surprised Fernandez lasted as long as he did, considering he looked ready to go early and was on a yellow card. One of the few things that didn't come back to bite us in the ass. The pitch was an absolute mess, so all 22 players were having a lot of trouble with tackles and the like. The cool thing about Campagna is on the even with his troubles on the pitch, even with the troubles of everybody, he still did amazingly. He was able to land some tackles that would be extremely difficult. There. Another one thing that I like as for Ruby, I really like Ruby, but today he effectively passed it to a obviously not intentionally, but he effectively passed it to a Pacific player for 0-2. We were still even at 0-1 we were still in the game. After that, we were done. I have to call it I have to call it as I see it, and it just we came to a 90-minute game and we only had like 60 minutes in us, basically. I apologize for not being as articulate as I usually am, but it's just pretty straight. A lot of the problems that we'd done very well to solve earlier seem to come rushing back. We've never really been able to score an open play consistently, but in this case, defensive mistakes that I thought we had solved completely. Um, and a lack of action going forward. And solidity, and there wasn't nearly as much solidity as there had been for the past few months. I really just hope the next season is better. That last game was the easiest of the at the time were the 3 games we have left. The next 2 are against the 2 teams we haven't gotten a single thing out of this whole season. Ottawa on October 1st, and I intend to talk to Eddie Benhin about that. You're all going to love that. And Halifax Forge, which will be a full watch along, so you can all embrace the horror. I mean, Forge Halifax. So, to match last season's results, we will need to win both games, and I'm not sure that that's. as it stands right now, we're 1 point above 2019, which was our worst season. This season was a disaster. It was a mess. There's no sugarcoating it. And I really hope that we can get something done in the seasons to come. Because this isn't it. Basket still needs to stick around. Basket has definitely been our best goalkeeper. And I really hope that Adisa De Rosario does well in TFC2. They appear to be calling him back. Now we can find a better number 2. Oxner ain't that guy, and he wasn't that guy even when he was our number 1. And I'm not going to be harsh on the guy, but I am going to say that. I guess that's really all I have to say about it. I apologize for not being as articulate or as professional as I usually am, but yeah. Halifax Wanderers, the first team to get battered by both the Atlantic and the Pacific in the same week. I'm not sure any other team's going to match that. Up those wonderful